Most people don't realize it, but breaking free from black and white reactive thinking can completely transform your life. And I'm going to show you how by using what I call the 3 R's of recognize, retreat, and revisit. I know that sounds a bit funny, but you're going to learn how to respond more often coherently rather than reacting and shooting from the hip with less control in your life with these 3 easy steps to follow. Nearly 50% of people experience black and white thinking at some time in their lives. This black and white thinking, this all or nothing mindset, can absolutely destroy our mental state and ruin relationships. This type of thinking distorts our perception of reality, which leads to misunderstandings and poor decision making. And you know, I used to be the king of black and white thinking. I'd really struggle with this. This mindset prevented me from seeing situations objectively and accurately, but overcoming this way of thinking is going to be crucial for you to gain a truthful understanding of any situation without your personal biases or embellishments that we often overlay on the situation. Black and white thinking is where we see things in extremes, either 100% good or 100% bad, and we don't leave any room for any types of shades of grey in between. We often label ourselves or others as perfect or a total success, or on the other extreme, a total failure, which is common but very limiting. So when you address this mindset, it's going to help you in your own personal growth and mental well-being to better get a handle on things. You're going to learn to recognize and challenge those rigid thought patterns that keep us in a locked mindset. Black and white thinking can often lead to serious stress and anxiety, creating harsh perceptions of ourselves and others. You see, when you look at the world in absolutes, you make small mistakes catastrophic when they're really not so bad. And that mindset can also strain our relationships by making it easy to dismiss other people's feelings or actions as completely right or completely wrong. And this rigidity and locked-inness, if you will, of black and white thinking can leave us feeling often isolated from people we love and misunderstood by the most important people in our lives. So you might be asking, why is it that we exaggerate things into black and white thinking? There's got to be a payoff over here. Well, it justifies you. For example, my partner never puts things away. They're always messy. So the reason you'll want to phrase it with always or never is because you want to make yourself feel good and you want to put the other person down. But you're actually making yourself feel better while making things worse in the long run. Or another example is, your boss might have a lot of good things about them, but they're not such a good communicator. But you're going to come along and say, this guy is a disaster in every way. They never understand what I'm trying to communicate. Why would you say these type of extreme words? Never, always, disaster. Because rather than put in an effort to communicate effectively, it's easier just to take a cop-out over here. Believing that your boss is a disaster, it's a habit. It's going to excuse yourself from the hard work that you need to put into actually effectively communicating with him. Another example is maths. Well, maths is impossible. So why would you want to believe it's impossible? Why would you lie to yourself to make a difficult situation even harder than it is? Because now, by making this extreme statement, you've got yourself off the hook from putting in the hard work of doing the difficult hours of study required to pass that test, or to face those difficult emotions for failing the test. Black and white thinking protects us from the painful emotion of disappointment and uncertainty and lets us off the hook of actually doing the work we really need to do. It helps us feel powerless, which protects us from feeling guilty or accountable. Well, it's the situation. I'm a victim. I'll point the finger out there rather than take responsibility in here. And also it can feel good to call your best friend and say, I had the worst day ever. And then they come along and they say back, oh, you poor thing, I feel so sorry for you. That provides validation and comfort. We feel good after that when we speak to our friend. Some people say it's great therapeutically, but sometimes we don't even need to make the call. And we can say to ourselves, oh, I feel sorry for me. Oh, I'm such a poor thing. We sort of like that feeling of self-vindication where we get off the hook. It's a way of just making ourselves feel better. You see, the origins of this black and white thinking stem from the nervous system's fight, flight, freeze response. We might go into a life-threatening situation, and the response in our nervous system shuts us down with our nuanced thinking of simplifying decisions for survival. Because our ancestors, back in the days of the cavemen, if you will, they had this black and white thinking as well as a view to attack tribes as subhuman, making it easier to fight without considering their humanity, without considering they might have a wife, children, loved ones, that they have hopes and dreams as well. We treat them as subhuman animals. That mindset allowed us to make quick, decisive decisions in dangerous situations where simplicity was absolutely crucial to survive. But in modern life, when most decisions are not black and white thinking, it often disrupts our emotional stability and ability to see things more clearly. But the good news is there is an alternative with perspectives that can help us move beyond this all or nothing thinking mentality. Practicing somatic safety and self-compassion allows us to see the shades of grey in life. Instead of labeling ourselves and situations as a total disaster and failure, we can recognize that we're all in a process of learning and growing. It's what we often call a growth mindset. As a kid, I saw the world through a strict black and white lens. Everything was just all or nothing. I labeled myself as a total failure whenever I couldn't succeed at what I ever tried. And I really saw myself as a success because my childhood was filled with so many failures and letdowns. Sure, there were good times as well, but they were overshadowed by the negative ones due to my black and white thinking. However, over time, I began to realize it was okay to be mistakes. I let go of this perfectionism. And letting go of that black and white perfectionist mindset brought me more joy and allowed me to see the bigger picture of life with many successes, a lot of micro successes along the way that I wouldn't normally even take into account. The shift was a game changer for me, and I want to share that and I want to see that for you too. So to start, I recommend what I call for you to focus on microscopic successes, no matter how small, and celebrate them. And actually, the smaller it is, the better it is. Notice something positive in your life, even if there's just a little bit of a ray of sunshine or anything that is sort of good in no matter how small or stupid it may seem. Celebrate it. So to give you an example of what I'm talking about, we were looking for a place to rent. We had to move. I wanted to be close to my friends and community, which was really especially hard on our Sabbaths and religious holidays. We don't drive on our Sabbath. We walk everywhere. I wanted to be in a place that was close to community. So I was really upset because, I had to walk a good 20 plus minutes to get to the shul, the synagogue where we pray. And one day on one of those walks, when I was walking back home from shul, from synagogue, I noticed some of the small things on my walk home that changed my whole perspective. I appreciated the nice weather. It was sunny. I enjoyed walking in the sun. I liked getting the exercise. I liked the fresh air. And even on rainy days, I found something good about the rain as well because I found it very calming and soothing. As long as it wasn't really gushing down really heavily, I enjoyed walking with my raincoat on in the light rain. It was just something I actually found very relaxing. And while I was walking, I noticed the beautiful housing, the grass cut so nicely on the footpaths, and even smiled at people along the way. I realized, hey, it's not so bad. I saw the advantages, like health benefits, the quiet time, which was one of the healthiest exercises to do when you're walking. There's nothing better than that. So now we need to apply what I call the 3 R's to see the bigger picture of life. The first one in the 3 R's is recognize. Start by recognizing your extreme language that you might be using in a situation. You might be using words like never, the worst, always, perfect, terrible, disastrous, everything, everyone, nothing, no thing, nobody. They're often telltale signs of black and white thinking. And then there's what we call body awareness. How are you feeling in your body? Do you notice something tense in your arms? I know with one of my clients, they'd get really tense in their arms and they'd feel in their forearms, they'd feel this sort of pain. And when I started working with them and creating their own safe space, they started to actually, and working through with them, they were able to sort of diminish that pain in their arms for that particular person. This indicates that your nervous system is either in fight and flight or shut down or some overreacting. So that's the first stage of recognizing the extreme words you're using and the physical responses in your body that you could be experiencing at the time. So catch them. See how you're feeling. That's recognize. The second part of the R's is retreating. That's where you want to regulate and gain perspective. At this stage, that involves retreating back, stepping back from the reactivity in your words and in your body, and to re-regulate your nervous system. And by doing this, you've got to gain a wider objective perspective when you revisit the issue later on. You want to calm the nervous system down. So to help you with this, you can watch my video on transforming your life with somatic exercises, which offers techniques to create a safe space within yourself and to down-regulate your nervous system. The link will be in the description below. Once you've created this safe space to retreat into, you're going to feel more balanced and approach any extreme situation with greater self-passion and objectivity, which will reduce the need to jump to this extreme black and white interpretation of life. Now, an alternative way to retreat, if you haven't seen the video yet, is to just simply slow down your breathing, connect to how your body is feeling, and to set aside your judgments till you feel calmer. Also use the micro appreciations to appreciate the small things around you. So as you're taking those deep breaths with the micro appreciations of the little things around you, the small positive aspects of something around you, that'll help you move into a temporarily safer, calmer, more secure space, reducing the intensity of the black and white thinking manifesting in your words and your body. And then finally, after you've had that soak time to just calm down a little bit, you want to go to the third R, which is revisit. So your nervous system's calmed down, you're in a state of balance or homeostasis. We're revisiting the situation that triggered your black and white thinking in the first place. And you're hopefully going to have a bit more compassion on yourself to approach the situation in a more loving way to yourself, to be kinder and more understanding of your own limited thoughts that you've had till now, to allow you to see the bigger picture. You see, when you've got self-compassion for yourself, you can have more compassion towards a difficult situation, to be more compassionate and open to see it from a wider picture, to look at beyond the initial extreme interpretation. So you'll understand the situation more fully, more objectively than you have been looking at it till now. Okay, so summing up the 3 R's, which is a guide to a balanced thinking, healthy life in your body, your soul, and your psyche. First part is recognize. Look at the words, look at the extreme descriptions you're using. Notice what's going on in your body. You feel some sort of intensity as you're overreacting. For example, you might feel tension in your chest, like you're gearing up for a mental boxing match, or notice your body leaning forward when you're ready to confront the other person. The second R is retreat. It's trying to re-regulate your emotions by going to your safe space. And if you haven't created one yet, don't worry. As we said, just do some deep breathing and a simple visualization, either or both, to make you feel safe. And for those that are serious about creating a personal safe space, again, check out the link in my description. the video to stop brain shrinkage with 6 somatic exercises. These exercises will help you establish a safe space that you can tap into whenever your nervous system becomes overreactive. And then finally, the third R is revisit. After spending some time in your safe space, you've calmed down, you're going to be more likely to have a new, more loving, wider perspective, allowing you to see the situation more clearly with less judgments and a calmer, more compassionate outlook. We want to embrace the middle ground for authentic living. Living freely and authentically, embracing the middle ground helps us break free from the confines of rigid beliefs. And it opens you to new experiences by letting go of this extreme black and white thinking. Hence, we open ourselves to a greater, healthier, more flexible, fulfilling life where we're not locked in and so tight in our body and our mind. Now it's your turn. I invite you to try the 3 R's. Have you struggled with black and white thinking? Please share them with me below in the comments. Also, if you would like more of these videos, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out and gets the message out to more people. And if you're interested in learning how to regulate your nervous system and manage black and white thinking better, check out my other videos for additional insights. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time that you've taken to watch this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.